Welcome to the Focus on Why podcast. I'm Amy Rowlandson and I ask my guests one simple question. Why? Focusing on the importance of why, I share with you the relatable, uplifting and inspiring conversations I have with people from all walks of life. This podcast will encourage you to focus on your why to enable and empower you to achieve the success you desire. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why. Welcome to the show, Michelle Bryant.
Hi.
It's been very exciting. We've tried 3 times to get you on the show and our computer tech has just failed us. I don't know if it's my end or your end, but let's see if this works for us today. Third time lucky, as they say. So we met back in September last year, so September 2019. And I think in a short period of time, we've actually been to quite a few meetings together, and that's in the property space.
That's right. Yes, we have. We've always ended up having quite a lot to say to each other and a couple of cheeky wines.
Yeah, indeed. And so we started out, we met at a fantastic event, which was organised by the founders of the Property Sisters, Ruth Hobbs and Claire Norwood and Carolina Adamczyk. And they set up that first meeting back in September at the Oxford Tower. And that's where I met you, as well as many other people who have since become super friends. And the network that we've had there has been incredible. I know you get a huge amount from it as well.
Absolutely. It's actually really hard to believe that was really only 6 months ago. And it couldn't have been any better timed, really, because the network and the support is, I've not seen anything like it. It's incredible.
It's really gathered quite a lot of momentum, and especially now that we're in lockdown. We're recording this in early April, so it's likely that this will come out in May, but this particular podcast. But where we are right now, we're having weekly catch-ups, physically or virtually on the Zoom, but we're having hundreds and hundreds of daily messages between us of support. And I think the level of positivity has been incredible, really useful to lift up spirits and just focus on the positive things. And there are a lot.
Absolutely. It's just quite phenomenal. You pick up your phone and so much has been going on, and there's always someone that gets something out of every little response, and it's just great to be able to help people, and you never know when that could be you that needs that support or answer.
Oh, definitely. So community and network is something that's really important to you.
Absolutely. I mean, up until the last few weeks, I spend an awful lot of my evenings networking, and I just love it, and I love building those relationships, and you become friends with a lot of people as well, and also when I go back to New Zealand for sort of like an extended break, I really look forward to seeing those people again that I've met and formed those relationships with. So it's very important to me.
And you've mentioned before when we've spoken about how you're great at introducing people, and I've certainly been on the receiving end of being introduced to people, by you, which has been really good. And in fact, crowdfunding, we've since used our SSAS pension money in various deals because of the introductions that you've made. So that's been very useful for us.
Excellent. Yeah, it's the whole SSAS community has been another huge game changer. It really only, again, it's hard to believe that really only came about a year ago. Mark Stokes set up the alliance, and it was perfect timing, actually, because I think a lot of people were quite stuck with what they were doing with their SSASs, and they had quite, in some cases, a bit of money sitting around not really being utilised. And that community, the Facebook Alliance group, and obviously the evening meetings, which are now happening around the country, has completely been a game changer for a lot of people. And being able to talk about what strategies you do and connecting with other people who want to try that as well. It's lovely being able to help and connect people to be proactive.
And you've been quite vocal in that arena in terms of speaking engagements for the SSAS Alliance.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of speaking here and there. I've been to one of the regional meetings. I went to the Rugby one back in the latter part of last year.
Did you get the opportunity to speak about rugby at the Rugby one?
Well, actually, funnily enough, it was just after the World Cup final, and obviously a lot of people may have been expecting it to have been won by the English team. So it was quite good timing going back to rugby, obviously the home of rugby, and it coincided with the date that Jonah Lomu passed
Oh
away,
wow.
his anniversary. So I did make reference to that in my little opener.
He was a
So
phenomenal player, wasn't he? He was absolutely amazing to watch.
yeah, he was quite phenomenal. There'll never be another rugby player like him, I don't think, in our lifetime. That's for sure.
No, well, so you're a big All Blacks fan. How much do you miss sort of being able to watch them, or do you go to Twickenham and watch the rugby?
Oh, absolutely. I try to go to the big games. I was very fortunate when the World Cup was, the last World Cup, which obviously was at Twickenham, the
Don't
last
talk about that.
final. I was very fortunate enough to have got a ticket to go and to see a lot of legends retire on a win. And I'd actually met Jonah Lomu just a few days before, which was very close to the end of his life, and it was amazing. So I don't think I'll ever top that as far as a game, but yes, we'll always support the All Blacks no matter where I live.
Incredible. So rugby is one of your passions, and connecting people and introducing them in and getting win-win scenarios is something that's very important to you. And you've got a really strong connection of friends and family here and at home, or whichever home you choose to call New Zealand or
Yes.
England.
Oh, well, London is home. It's been home for more than half my life, but I think New Zealand will always be home. So, yes, I do love to go back to New Zealand for quite an extended time over New Zealand summer and make the Northern Hemisphere winter shorter. And yeah, it's always been very important to me because I used to get quite sort of, I don't know whether the word frustrated is right, but when I worked in the city for quite a number of years, I always used to find it quite difficult to say I really need that time off over Christmas because I want to go back to be with my family. And I thought, one day I want to be able to be in charge of that. I don't want to have to ask for it. So that was the seed that got planted for me about taking control and not having to ask to see my parents and my family at Christmas time.
So that actually started to dictate the whole way that you worked. You stopped working for companies and became more of a consultant.
Yes, I like to be able to pick and choose when I could take holidays. And then that sort of led to, well, do I really want to be in the corporate world forever? I want to have more flexibility around my work. So I discovered the rich dad education, and I'd always had a passion for property. I was never big on commuting, and I found a property that was being developed very close to my office near Liverpool Street, and I actually went and viewed the site in my lunch hour and reserved an apartment, which is where I still live today. So I bought a property off plan, and got quite a lot of experience around working with developers and little shortcuts and things that you can sometimes see happening. So I learned an awful lot from that. And then on one of my trips back to New Zealand, I did actually buy some coastal property. And from there, I sort of, after I did my formal educational property training, started to take action and buy a few buy-to-lets.
And that's great. And so where did you buy then? Was it sort of out of town or was it in London?
East London. So further east of where I reside, I really love regeneration areas. And obviously, back in 2013-14, when I started doing this, the Crossrail train line was not supposed to be that far away. And obviously, we know that's been delayed, and now it's obviously completely halted from what I believe. So regeneration areas, places where there's definitely going to be an uplift and where the dynamics are changing. I've got another little pocket as well in southeast London, which is in an area where there's no Starbucks, no Costas. So that's the sort of thing I look for. But the houses have got to be quite large. Some of them needed a bit of work. I've stripped back right to the brick, but also very close to train stations and with big sunny gardens. And I've never had problems getting tenants. And I don't have a lot of properties, and the plan was never to have a lot because, again, I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket. And And not long after I started doing that, obviously there were surprises from the Chancellor with stamp duty raises and all sorts of tax and regulatory disadvantages to landlords. So that was just one of my strategies.
You seem quite financially independent and aware. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because your background is in which field?
Chartered accounting, which I still keep my qualification and do my CPD every year, because I think for me it's part of my brand. It gives me a bit of credibility when I'm looking at financials. And yes, so I worked as a chartered accountant for many years, and that's led me into the project management route, because a lot of the banks I worked for ended up merging and buying each other out. This was quite a number of years ago. So I got into the project management side, and with my accountancy experience, that was quite unique, because not a lot of project managers are numbers and accounting people. So that's where my path led me. And I've never been massively passionate about being a typical beanie accountant, but it's been a great background to leverage off.
That's fantastic. So you came to London sort of just start on your own, and you were planning to live here for a few years or for a long time?
Yeah, I basically said goodbye to my friends and family. I said, I'm planning to go for 4 years, but, I might come back next year for a holiday, or I'll just see how it goes. And I got on this plane. I still remember all my friends coming to the airport to see me off. And I went to New York to visit some friends on the way and had a great time there. Gosh, we tore up the town. Arrived in London, and I got a job quite quickly. And it was. I look back now, I think, gosh, that was quite a big, brave thing to do, getting on that plane and leaving everything I knew behind. And my sister was really young, and my brother had left home, and it was. I just think now that was quite brave.
That's brilliant. I think you've always had that sort of fierce independent streak in you, because to be that confident at that age and just up sticks and move to another city and create the entire life that you have done has been incredible. And the driver for you is clearly being in control of your own time and having that independence. But what is your why?
Well, my why is to have freedom. I think it's just so important to be in charge of your time. So to me, yeah, my why is just to not feel trapped. It's to be able to just jump on a plane and to be with my family and my friends. And if I need to work and log on from wherever I go, to be able to do that. So to be able to work remotely and just be flexible and make the most of life while you're healthy. And we all know how quickly the years are going by. I mean, we're in Q2 already, and this is a bit of a peculiar year. So everyone's doing their goals at a different speed, and some things are working well for people. They've had to think out of the box and do different things. So I just think you've got to make the most of it. And some people, it's not for everyone, but to me, it's important.
You strike me as sort of person that doesn't say, says yes to opportunities and doesn't say no to things. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think you do have to be careful what you say no to. And obviously, you don't want to say yes to everything. But I do think, I just think life's too short. You just don't know what something could lead to. I mean, I'm just a little weekend away many years ago on a train. I ended up talking to someone, and I ended up being auditioned for Ready Steady Cook and getting on the show and winning it. I mean, that was an amazing experience. And just little things, you just never know. Who you could meet, what it could lead to, what opportunity, who knows who. It's just, you've got to be very careful what you say no to.
For sure. And so you're very competent in your investing side, in your awareness of how to build a portfolio. Was that an easy thing to do, to build a portfolio? When was it, back in 2013?
Building a portfolio was not actually very easy. It was just not long after the Olympics that I really started to take action, and there was so little properties for sale of the houses and the ones that the type of properties I was looking for. And one of the very first properties that I tried to buy, I actually got gazumped on exchange date.
Oh,
And there was a little bit of a price rally, and I put another offer in, and then it just wasn't meant to be. And I look back now and I think, yeah, that wasn't meant to be. And that led me to buying another one and another one. And, I bought quite a few properties quite quickly. And, most of them it was to buy to hold, but I did a little bit of flipping. But it was actually hard. I mean, I was getting valuations done, and I still had people chasing those houses. And whenever a property came up, I was very lucky. I had some real estate agents that called me. I literally got my name in their little black book, and just hearing about people who were trying to still steal those deals off me. It was incredible. I think that's potentially the reason why I've still got them. I had to fight like hell to get them.
well done. Because I mean, there are opportunities for you in not having to consult anyone. You could make decisions on your own.
Yeah, I've never had a JV partner, and I've always been able to make decisions quite quickly because I haven't had to take time out to ask someone else and do figures over the phone or face to face with a partner, a business partner. So yeah, it made me I was able to act more spontaneously and quicker, which meant I didn't miss out on any deals, which I could have done if I'd in some cases not said yes on the spot.
So, what would your sort of advice be? I mean, I know that you've said that this isn't the life for everyone to be as brave as you have and sort of have the flexibility of not having the 9 to 5 job. But what would your advice be to people?
My advice to people would be just always be curious and always try and learn something new every day. I mean, I'm forever writing things down. Think, oh gosh, I don't know what that means. I must look that up. Or if somebody says the name of a book that they love, I think, oh, I need to know about that. Just always embrace learning something new. And if you get invited to a party or to an event, if you get that feeling, think, yeah, maybe I really should go to that, because you think, gosh, if I don't go, I wonder what I'll miss. And I just think you've really, I mean, obviously you can't go out in London. You could back in the day not so long ago, you could go out every night. You could have 5 clashes in your diary. I just think it's you've really got to make the most of things, because one person, one opportunity could really change your life, and you just don't know what it might lead to. And yeah, you just got to go for it.
Fantastic. And have there already been any particular inspirations for you, or have there been any books that you have inspired you to take charge or take control or change up your life?
Well, I get asked about my books and my reading quite often, but I think the book that really stands out for me, and it's a really well-known book, and it's I'm sure you've read, The Slight Edge.
Oh yeah,
To me,
awesome. Yeah.
it sums up everything. It sort of just reinforces what I just said. It's those little things that you can do that can make a difference, because they're easy things not to do as well. And just never giving up, and just those little things, those little tweaks or little steps you make, all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, they've all added up to a big leap. So I think that's pretty much my favorite. And I think you could read it every few years and still enjoy it, and maybe take something new out of it.
I totally agree. I think the overriding principle is what's uncomfortable today will be comfortable later, and what's comfortable today will be uncomfortable later.
And also just being uncomfortable as well. I think if you're never out of your comfort zone, I don't think you've ever really lived. And I just think if you don't push yourself, you just you'll never know what you're really capable of.
Well, I think that's a great piece of advice for anybody in any circumstances, and particularly at this time, to think outside the box, think outside of your comfort zone, but reach out to your community. I think we've talked about it several times about the nurturing network that we're part of, and they're there. We're all in the same boat right now. We're all in the same situation, but we've got people who are holding each other up, and we are here to inspire one another and give each other strength. And I think that's all you can do right now is be there for others and ask others for help.
Absolutely, and not be afraid to ask anything. I mean, some people have got issues with tenants, and there's still a lot of things that we still don't know that are yet to unfold. because no one knows how long this is going to go on for. I mean, I don't know what's happening with all my tenants yet. I'm still waiting to hear. I'm sure there'll be some surprises. Just, having to try and find out how the most efficient way of dealing with those issues that may come up will be, and also for those people that are also they've been unwell and they've had to go through this whole shock as well, all at the same time. So yeah, we've been trying to hold each other up. It's great.
So, what are the benefits being? You mentioned about being you could be spontaneous and make those decisions alone in the property. How has that affected the way that you've operated?
It's allowed me to make decisions a lot quicker.
Hmm.
If sometimes you have to think on your feet, and you think, if I don't come up with a yes or no to this, I'm going to miss out. So I haven't had to consult someone else or ask permission or say, "Oh, can we afford that?" I make that decision, and no one can define me. I'm my own boss. It goes back to that Kim Kiyosaki book, doesn't it? The Rich Woman. It's like being financially independent, not relying on a business partner or a man in your life for money.
Absolutely. And do you think that having that background in chartered accountancy gave you that independence quite early because you took control of your life from a financial perspective?
I think it's definitely had an impact because I was very lucky and fortunate. I always got a lot of opportunities come my way, so I could pick and choose what roles I wanted pretty much, and yeah, I made my own decisions, and obviously that's reflected in the rest of my life as well. I'm used to making my own decisions about where I want to invest, where I want to buy something, what I want to do, where I can go on holiday. I can do what I like. So yeah, that's sort of overspilled into everything.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. And so your why is so linked to not just being in control, not just having that independence, but having that the flexibility of, as you said, the who, the why, the when, the how, which is really inspiring for people, especially women who are asserting themselves more and more in the financial environment. I still see a lot of people who aren't taking control of their own finances, and not that's not just women. That's all sorts of people. But in the circles that we have, a lot of people are taking control. So I forget often that that's not the norm.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's I think it's great how the world is changing, and women are those property sisters are doing that. I mean, you hear all these stories about um, you know tradesmen or estate agents assuming that behind every woman there's a man. Well, no, there's not always, and there doesn't need to be. So the slightly people are getting the message that you know the sisters and the women can do it for themselves.
Absolutely. Well, I know that you're one of them, and I've got a few others that are coming on the show. So there'll be strong in force on talking about women in property, women in business as well. So it's great, really good stuff.
I look forward to getting to know them better as well because you're very good at getting people to tell their stories. So yeah, that's going to be great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Well, watch this space. More episodes coming soon.
Yeah, and exciting. And it'll be great to hear about all the new ideas that people have come up with since they've had more time to think. Because I know the sisters aren't just sitting there watching Netflix; they're out there doing new things. And I mean, look at Carolina, who is one of the Queen sisters. She was ahead of the game. Within a few days of lockdown, she's come up with a whole new concept, and I'm part of her accountability group, and she's whipping us into shape. So I've come up with a few new ideas myself, and it's exciting. And then again, I don't have to run them by anybody else. I can do what I like, so it's exciting.
Yeah, the whole concept of this podcast has been created because I've had the time to reflect. So I agree with you. There's going to be lots of opportunities that arise from this time that we've all had. Sort of, and I'm certainly not watching Netflix. I was up till last night studying till about 12:30 about just getting this podcast really, really well put together and how to launch it again, because I've had a great podcast before and I just wanted to sort of get it even better this time.
Yeah, it's amazing how opportunity comes out of unfortunate things, and obviously this time is unprecedented. So yeah, you're it's amazing. I just think obviously it was meant to be. You were obviously meant to have a change, and it's exciting. I'm excited for you.
Well, change your mind and you can change the world, they say.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your story. There's been some really, really great insights there. And I think that there will be people who are listening to this that will really resonate with what you said, particularly the need to be with family and friends and not have your time dictated by others. So for you to have taken control and being independent from the start was really, it was a bold move, but I think you've proved that you're already that sort of person, having up sticks very early and coming over in your early 20s, albeit you only thought it was going to be for 4 years. But, things change and you've embraced change.
Yeah, it's I just can't believe how quickly the years have gone by, but I'm sure that's the same for everyone else. But yeah, embracing change, that's a big thing. Yeah, I mean, I did used to work in the change management side of things, and in my in my roles in the city as well. So maybe that's had an impact on how I work as well.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show and all the best. I hope that you stay safe and things are all good with your properties and your tenants.
And likewise for yourselves. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Focus on Why podcast. I'm Amy Rowlandson, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave me a 5-star iTunes review. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook, and become a member of the inspiring, uplifting and positive Focus on Why Facebook group. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why.